I think somebody even wrote a comment, Nonsensei had to go see her sensei.
Ah.
Pretty apt, actually. Someone's got some bars.
Someone
I think it
making
was Luke.
the funnies. Making the funnies.
And indeed, it was funny for you. It wasn't funny for me. It was tiring for me.
People might have a different opinion to what I'm going to say right now, but I do think while this was a good episode, episode 3 was the worst episode of the 3 so far.
Yeah, we're going to be getting a lot of people disagreeing. I feel like in this video, I enjoyed it, but it didn't match up to the first 2. I think the second episode has been the strongest yet.
Yeah. I don't know why, it just felt a bit more disjointed than the others. While I think the highs were higher than the other 2, I think the lows were a lot lower.
Hey, Nonsensei here, and
NarendraTheComic.
And right now, we're going to be discussing and reviewing episode 3 of Moon Knight. We're finally here, and we do have something to say that I think a lot of people will disagree with. I feel like the story itself was a bit all over the place. We've now switched out this scarab MacGuffin for this Senfu sarcophagus MacGuffin. And I feel like I expected more from this show. I know we're only halfway through, but when you think about that, that's a lot of the time we've spent just chasing these objects. And yeah, we've come into some interesting situations for the characters and we've learned a lot about them, but I wanted more than that by now, right?
Yeah, I think that they are kind of pulling our legs a little bit with the way they are moving forward with the show. But I feel like the change is going to come probably in episode 5 or 6 where something huge happens and then the entire perspective of this show shifts 180 and it's a completely different show from the previous episodes. And I think the only show that really did that was probably WandaVision, where there was that dynamic shift in the last few episodes where you said, oh, this is what's going on. Even though I already knew what was going on, I'm saying that was the thought process, and I think they're going to do the same thing with this show.
Well, I'm seeing what the cliffhanger might be, and I think we got some hints in this episode.
Oh, the cliffhanger is the third personality, right?
100%.
Yeah.
We've got some hints in this episode where Mark's like, what did you do, Stephen? And Stephen's like, Mark, it wasn't me, what did you do?
Right.
There's another bloodthirsty, it seems, personality who's been taking charge without anyone else realizing it, right?
In the comics, there is another one, yeah.
What's their name?
His name is LOKI. I can't remember the first name. But I remember he's like a taxi driver or something. He's very, very nitty-gritty. Mark's like the mercenary. Steven's like the layman from the way they're doing it, even though in the comics he's generally more of a like millionaire or billionaire. He's very rich in the comics,
really?
I remember from some runs, yeah.
Wow.
They've kind of changed it a little bit from that. But LOKI was like a cab driver who's like logged into the underground black market.
Seems like a big thing, you know, especially if he's the one who's gaining control. Because in the previous episode, Mark was talking about how he's always had it under control and now Steven's gaining control. But it's not actually Steven gaining control then, it's actually LOKI gaining control and then Steven's getting these like interim portions before Mark then retakes control, right?
Yeah, or Mark's being given control after LOKI's done his stuff. Even though it seems like Steven is kind of becoming more powerful or more accessible.
We did see that thing in this episode where Steven was the one dealing with Khonshu when he was doing that move with the sky.
Yeah.
That was the one from the trailers, right? That was a very nice visual, but I do have a problem with it, and I think you had the same problem.
Yeah, big
This
problem.
is an Avengers level threat. Like, if the sky is being pulled back 2,000 years, right? So that would have to bring questions up to S.H.I.E.L.D., Sword, if Sword's in the sky or things like that.
I don't know, especially when you live in an interconnected world like the MCU is. I think that something like that, while it's definitely distinct and cool, it's kind of throwaway because it doesn't really make sense in the overall universe, does it? No. Because you can't be doing that and people not notice. It just doesn't happen. And then there's the stuff with Arthur Harrow where he does find the tomb and then he gets summoned as a human to the court of the gods. And I'm not really understanding why he was brought back there at the end of the episode. I don't get that, because he is just a human and all these other people are avatars of the gods or the gods themselves. So why was he allowed back into the Pyramid of Giza in that hallowed hall at the end of the episode? I'm missing something there.
Yeah, I don't even understand why they took his word at face value in the first court ruling.
I get that to a degree. Like, they're trying to judge what's going on and they've brought this human there. At the same time, the human should be a bit more like, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
Probably.
But I guess because he did say that he was a previous avatar, they gave him a little bit of extra trust. But if a god is making this accusation, I understand he was trying to pin Khonshu as being erratic and unstable and jealous and all these things. Why would you believe the human over the guy who's the conduit for the god?
Now they've locked Khonshu away for messing up with the constellation and the stars, and I mean, he knew what he was doing. He knew that that was going to happen, but he was willing to take the consequences for his actions in that case. But I'm still just not seeing why Arthur would be brought back to the pyramid. I get it the first time round to a degree, but the second time it's just not adding up.
No.
It's not, because he's not an avatar of Amit. He's not an avatar of the other gods. So he shouldn't really have been brought back there.
No, and it was just one guy who brought him back, right? It was a personal decision. So maybe he has a line to the guy who was the other avatar of one of the other gods.
Why?
Through his cult, which apparently is way bigger than we initially thought.
Yeah.
This guy has people everywhere, like thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of followers who are all incredibly dedicated. But if that's the case, how is he not known worldwide?
He should be pretty famous,
right?
He? Yeah.
He really should be, considering the world that this is set in. But he's seemingly flying under the radar and still gaining more and more followers everywhere, which doesn't sit right with me, even though he already has his cult community in London. But it's like, we don't actually, don't tell anyone we've got a cult community. But it would have to be known to the government agencies of the world, the ones that go above government, like S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff, because he's a person of note. Right?
You'd think so, but then, you know, stupid shit happens. And I think that's one of the ones which is, oh, this is stupid shit here. That's a stupid shit idea. That doesn't make sense. You look at these gurus from all over the world, Southeast Asia, South Asia, you know, they have internet profiles. They're famous for being gurus.
Yep.
I'm missing something. He's a spiritual leader. It's what he is. But these other gods do seem probably more powerful than Khonshu as well, actually. When you saw I don't know which one it was, the main guy in the suit, he seemed to be more powerful. I think that those were the powers of that avatar. Whereas Moon Knight's power is a healing suit, apparently, which is what they said in the episode, which I think is cool. It's fine. I think it doesn't overpower him too much. He has heightened strength, heightened speed, and a healing suit. So he's kind of invulnerable to a big degree when he's in the suit. But if that's his power set, then these other characters are different power sets.
I guess in the next few episodes, because Khonshu's been locked in stone, he might not have access to the suit.
Yeah, he probably won't.
Right? Because in this
it was
episode,
coming off of him.
Yeah, right? At the end, his mask fell away. And one thing I have with Layla, I thought she was this regular person who might have dabbled in this, you know, black market underworld.
No, I said she was like a grave robber. She was doing this type of shit.
She was, you know, properly fighting. She also fought this very large guy, and it's like, guys, I know you love the ability of men to fight women.
You mean the message?
The message is that women can fight anybody, right? But she's pretty small, and he was a big guy. He was a big fellow, and he like smacked her into this metal structure, and I thought, oh, your legs are broken. She just got right back up. Oh, you should have choreographed it differently, because Mark's choreography was really amazing in this episode when they were in that sand pit and there were the people on the horses with the stakes and everything.
Yeah. Even earlier in the episode, it was pretty good, wasn't it?
With those people running through Cairo, right? I really, really liked it. But for hers, it was like, I don't think you've done this the right way. You could have done this better to show her being quick and sprightly to try and get round him rather than physical force fighting.
Yeah, she loses, my guy. You put Ronda Rousey in there with Brock Lesnar. I mean, it's not even... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Like, she's getting killed. Yeah. She's getting killed. You put me in there with Ronda Rousey, I'm probably going to get done in, but there's a good chance I'm going to take her out. So I would think, because she doesn't have any superpowers, and she's not like a super spy, like Black Widow, it's a bad matchup. Someone going to get deaded. I
just want more from the story than going to find this object. I imagine now the real story is going to begin, because there's no Khonshu, there's no healing suits. Now Steven and Mark have this interesting relationship where they're willingly giving up the body to each other because they understand that they need each other's skills. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy that video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, then Moon Knight will be coming after you. You do not want that. Do they want that? No, you really don't. So just subscribe anyway to avoid that. Now, I've been Nonsensei. He's been
NarendraTheComic.
You've been great, and we'll see you next time. That's tomorrow. If you don't know, we make a video every single day. We're doing it every day for over 1,000 days now, and we're not stopping till we get to 10,000 subscribers. So do subscribe. Pop back again tomorrow for some more quality shitty content, because the hashtag never not here. Just how it goes, we also bring the bakwas. Bakwas means nonsense in Punjabi. We also bring that. Bring a lot, bring a little, do a lot, do a little, but we do indeed bring that quality shitty content on a daily basis. So see you tomorrow. More the same, slightly different, but essentially the very same once more. See you then. Skadoosh.
I got you! I got you! Take that, you friggin' psycho! I got you!